Namaskar Mandi. I'll request, all the delegates who are sitting at the back, if you could move in the front, the connect would be better. This topic is very important. Future of Rotary is our future. So friends, it'll be great, it'll be little disruption, but I would really request each one of you to move forward. We could also make it a little interactive and not just one way. Yesterday was a wonderful day, and I think the kind of agenda, speakers, and the kind of deliberations we had is something which conferences are made for. So I hope you really liked it. Did we or did we not? You see, it's early morning. I think we just had breakfast. We are all energized. And if we really liked it, let's give a big hand to Governor Bhaskar Ram and his team, of course. You see, I've been here now for 2 days, and every time anything I've seen, I've realized that Rotary happens in districts like this, 3020. The project we talked about, it's a great project because not only we are distributing cycles or swing machines, we are actually changing life. And when I talk about future of Rotary, you'll realize why it is so relevant what we do. Because when we change life of a single person, it is never that single person alone. Think of the present, it changes the family of the person you are giving a benefit to. But more importantly, as we look in a long-term perspective, it changes many more families which they touch, and eventually it changes the whole community. So this is what Rotary is, and somewhere down the line, when you talk about relevance of Rotary in future, you'll realize we have survived for so many years, almost about 118 years now, only because Rotary is a service organization. Otherwise not. Let's ask a couple of questions. Many of you have known brands like Nokia. Have you known a brand called Nokia? How many of you? Okay, let's cut back into 2000. How many of you owned a Nokia phone? Virtually everyone. And how many of you own it today? None. You see, not even a single hand comes up. And this is when we talk of future, future is all about managing change. And friends, change is something which will happen. Change is something you cannot stop. But change is something, if you manage well, you survive. And Rotary has done that. When it started with Paul Harris and some of his friends, probably the objectives of Rotary are very different than what they are today. And somewhere down the line, as you know, we added service to Rotary, and that has made all the difference. And I keep saying, if there was no foundation, if there was no service, we wouldn't have been Rotarians today. Rotary would not have existed. So the natural question is, would Rotary continue? Would it continue? If it does, for how long? And friends, I don't think I have an answer. I don't think even Director Venky, who's sitting here, has an answer to that. But we all hope it will continue because this is something we have all nourished and cherished all throughout our life. And we would want the service which we have given to continue because it should not continue just for us. It should continue for the beneficiaries who have been benefited for so many years because they are not going to go away. Rotary may remain, may not remain. We may remain, we may not remain. But the people who need services of Rotary will remain. That much I can tell you. Whether it is 30 years or 100 years, the beneficiaries who we are touching through our projects like what we showed here, they are not going to vanish. Irrespective of the level of economy, how we handle our poverty, how do we handle peace in the world, that requirement is not going to go away. So let's now deliberate. And first thing I'd like to tell you is a story of change. Because future is linked to change. Example of Nokia I gave, there's another very similar example. Again, all of you know that brand that is called Kodak. right? So once again, 2000, how many of you had Kodak cameras? Virtually everyone. And today, we don't have cameras, leave aside Kodak. Everything has gone on to your phone. So this is the change, and change does not happen overnight. It happens gradually. All who can adapt to the change. And do you know what happened? Why did Kodak fail? They thought film is the way. They never thought digitization is going to take over technology in the manner it has. And that was their wrong reading. And within few years, the company from being at the top. In fact, I had a fortune of visiting Rochester, which used to be the headquarters of Kodak. And the entire talk was how the entire town went down because of a single company. You know, people lost jobs, people lost opportunities, and a town which was a thriving town because of one single company completely went down just because that company went down. So keep that in mind, friends. If we do something wrong, not only we go down as Rotarians, the entire Rotary goes down as an organization, not just in India, all over the world. So keep that, you people here, and that's why I have asked you to come forward, because that message is very important. Yesterday we had a session on ethics, and one of the things which was said is, don't expect Rotary to come and demonstrate ethics to the world. It is each one of us as Rotarians who has to demonstrate ethics by our own actions. Similarly, for Rotary to survive in future, we need to ensure that things which we do are relevant to the community we are serving. So I think that's the first most point. Let's go back to something. I thought I'll start with a story. And the story is quite interesting. It's all about managing change. And this story is about a girl who's very upset. She goes to her work, she's not liking the work. Pretty much what many of you talk about Rotary clubs, that, you know, we don't like what happens in the club. So she's disgusted, she goes back to her dad and says, Dad, I'm not feeling good. You know, every day I get up, I don't get a good feeling, what should I do? Now, Dad is a chef. So he takes her to his kitchen, and all he does is puts 3 pots on boiling pots and starts putting things in that. So the first thing he puts in one of the pots is a potato. So we all understand a potato? Is it hard? Yes. So potato is put in one. The next thing which is put is an egg. And the egg is a very fragile kind of a thing. It's a tough skin, but inside is liquid. So if you tend to break it, it'll break. So that was put in the second pot. And third one, he put some wonderful coffee beans. So these were the 3 pots, and he started to boil them. This girl was disgusted. You know, she'd come to ask solution to a problem, and her dad was giving a demonstration she couldn't understand. But nevertheless, girls always have faith in their dads. So she was patient enough to wait. She was little disturbed, but continued to see what her dad was doing. And good 20 minutes, those 3 pots were boiling. And end of it, the father puts stop to boiling pots, starts taking out the content. So he first puts the potato on a plate, then he puts the egg, takes out the egg, puts it in a plate, and then he pours the coffee into a cup. And he asked the girl, what are these? She said, what kind of a question is this? Don't I know? There is a potato, there is an egg, and there is coffee. So the dad said, no, you need to go beyond that. I know you know it is potato, it is egg and coffee, but now go and touch the potato. And she touched it. And what happens? It has gone soft. So a hard potato which was put after 20 minutes of intense heating, boiling, has gone soft. But don't stop there. He said, go, pick that egg and try to break it. So she breaks it. And what has happened? The egg breaks, and inside there is a solid inside. So it has changed completely. But the third one, he said, now go and sip the coffee. And this girl, who was so annoyed, after sipping coffee, she suddenly felt a pleasure, because unlike the other two objects which changed themselves, coffee had changed the water and became something which really became something which you like. So this is how people react. And when we talk of organizations, when we talk of people like you and me, this is exactly what happens. We all go through the same grind, but when we come out of it, it is how we respond to what we go through. It makes all the change. So once again, the moral of the story, sir, is very, very, very simple. In life, things happen around us, things happen to us, but the only thing that truly matters is what happens within us. And this is what I urge each of you Rotarians. Keep your conviction about Rotary strong. And therefore, every time there is a change which you need to go through, keep the faith in Rotary, and Rotary will survive. Change is a given condition in life, and none of us can stop it. However, it is how we react to the change that will determine whether you will survive in this intensely competitive world. Future, my dear, is indeed a great unknown. Do we agree to that? So this is truly a representation of how we need to manage, because I don't know the future. I can only tell you how to manage the future, and it is our attitude which makes all the change, and it is our attitude which is at play when we talk about future. There are lots of questions about the future. What would future be? What will be there in future? Now, they are really good questions, but I think more appropriate question would be, is there going to be a future left for us in Rotary or for Rotary? In the message to 1914 Houston Convention, Paul Harris had said, the future of Rotary is shrouded in expectant mystery. It will be for you, my Rotarian friends, to aid in unfurling of Rotary destiny. Whatever Rotary may mean to us, to the world, it will be known by the results it achieves. And that is, I think, the key word. It is really the results, friend, which will determine whether we will survive or will not survive. And Paul Harris, 1914, look at the vision. Whatever he talked is more relevant probably today than the year he talked about. Do you agree with me? So please go ahead. Clap for Paul Harris. So is this the same question we should ask in 2023? Is Rotary relevant? Are we facing an opportunity with that question, or do we find it to be a challenge? Now this is a good, so is it an opportunity or is it a challenge? And I think, that's why I asked you to come forward. I would want some of you from the back to participate in this discussion. Is it an opportunity? Is it? So Rotary's future is uncertain. Does it become an opportunity? Okay, so let someone just get up and explain. Can we have a mic? Can we have a mic, please? Yeah, can you circulate? If you could just go into the crowd. Anyone would like to say something on this?
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, it'll be great if you could introduce yourself.
Challenges. I'm Dr. Krishna Shanti from Vizianagaram main club.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Challenges always give us opportunities to prove yourself.
Great.
Which Rotary gives an opportunity and forms a platform to prove yourself, to do service above self.
Wonderful. In fact, service above self is the key to this entire discussion, because that is what is making us survive. And that is what is helping us to manage the change. Someone else?
Very good morning. My name is Karam Kaur, and I am from the Rotary Club of Vijayawada Midtown. So as you just said that the future of Rotary is very uncertain. So certainly, when it is uncertain, there is more scope of more things happening because we can imagine more, we can do more, and there is a probability of more opportunities coming our way where, you know, we can have more of scope, and I think that makes it more certain and the more growth which is possible with serving in different manners, in different ways. Thank you so much.
So this is the optimism of Rotarians. One person, if you'd like to talk on challenge.
My name is Krishna Gummuluri. I'm the Charter President of Greater Vishaka.
Great, welcome.
And so I represent all my members here. So humankind has always had challenges, right? So we've never knew what the future, the only thing that's certain is an uncertain future.
Absolutely.
Change is the only constant in life.
Agreed.
And and most of us have faced this. And I think that there is no word like a challenge. I mean, challenge always comes with the other side, you know, it's a flip side of the coin. It always comes with the opportunity. It's just how you see it. Like you have rightly pointed out with the coffee example, you know, the coffee has changed the water.
Absolutely.
So the water in this case is the society around us. How do we look at that and change the society around us? What can we do to make lives better? That's basically
wonderful.
What
you know, this is what I wanted, because the line which I have written is, let's consider Rotary situation as an opportunity because we have so much to offer. You see, in a challenging situation, it depends on the content and things which you have inside. Since you have so much, it is certainly an opportunity, because challenges you can't really stop. They will come and go, but it is what you have and how you are will determine whether you will survive in future or you will not survive in future. The Greek philosopher Aristotle once said that essence of life is to serve others and do good. And it seems there is increasing number of people who are starting to wake up to that philosophy and see why volunteering is that important now. So again, this is both a challenge as an opportunity. So the need to serve and service of ourselves is likely to remain, not just today, but even 30 years from now. But the challenge is, when there are opportunities like this, there'll be more organizations vying for the same space. And you know very well there are others in the same space addressing a similar situation. So you need to be continuously conscious that not only you're addressing needs, not only you have strength of Rotary and the Rotary's past with you, but constantly you are in a changing environment with changing competition. So like an organization, Rotary has to think, and when there is a change, not only we address it the best way we can, but we also have to see how others are adapting to that change. And the need for each one of you friends is to be different. It's to be relevant. And if you know, when you do projects nowadays, the biggest complaint is the foundation is wanting us to do need assessment. Has any one of you complained on that? A big document you need to file with the global grant every time before your project even gets considered. Now, this is the change which Rotary is bringing through Future Vision, where we are saying not only the projects need to be done, but the projects need to be relevant to the community. I think that's a major, major point, and you should consider that to be something which Rotary is giving you back as a tool to make a change in the world and be better than competition. For years, we've been doing projects which we liked, or we had done in the past, so we thought they are the best. But for now, the change is that every time you do a project, you go back to the community and you check with them, do you need it? And that change, friends, have come recently. So there are change which will be driven by Rotary. There will be change which will be driven by your clubs, your district. There will also be change which will be driven by you as individual Rotarians, my friend. And I think that's the crux of what is going to happen really as far as Rotary is concerned. Other thing is about membership. Of course, we have had sessions, we have had discussions yesterday on memberships, but I think that is biggest aspect of change. The kind of members you get. Diversity, equity and inclusion, I think Venky is going to talk about it. Very, very important change which Rotary is bringing, but we need to bring that change in our mindset. Just one, difference between the traditional diversity and diversity as Rotary thinks of it today. Would anyone like to spell that? So Rotary has always promoted diversity as core value. We always had diversity as something we ensured when we looked at classifications. So can anyone just tell me, I'm not going into details of diversity, equity and inclusion because Director Venkatesh is going to talk about that. But one of the Rotarians I'll want just to define the traditional way of thinking of diversity in Rotary and the way now, because of the change word, we are talking about diversity. Any one of you? Even if you don't know, just attempt. It'll be good for others. Please, can we get a mic there? Okay, one mic with the gentleman here in the pink shirt. Yeah, please. Yes, sir.
Is there anybody else?
No, you carry on. We'll take the next one after you.
I went once, so I wanted to give others an opportunity. So that's okay. So diversity in general means I think of diversity in terms of the new way of thinking about diversity is thinking in terms of gender, ethnic backgrounds, cultural backgrounds. And also, I think I also want to see people from different walks of life, different vocations, and women. Any organization, we want to have at least 30% women to make that organization successful, vibrant, if you think. So, yeah, basically that. And gender doesn't mean just men and women. In the world, if you look at it, there is also other kinds of diversities in terms of having transgenders in the organization. That's a big thing. So inclusion should have all of those aspects to it.
Absolutely, very good. But my question was, what change happened? What was the original idea of diversity in Rotary? Your answer is perfect. This is exactly what diversity is defined as it is today. So would someone just define for a moment what is the original concept of diversity in Rotary's core value? If not, I'll define. It used to be vocational based. So the only diversity we used to talk was on classification and vocations. And literally the means, and that diversity itself was a core value and a differentiator of Rotary, and it remains to be so today. But now we are enhancing it to be more inclusive so that each and every member of the society or community can be part of Rotary and can contribute in their own unique way to growth of Rotary. So that's a very important aspect. Let's take the clock back. Yeah, sorry. Sir, if you want to say something, I'll love to hear from you.
Right from a classification committee in the club level, we used to think that representation has to be there of the society.
Sir, can you just speak in the mic a little closer?
The classification was the base for diversity previously. You want to have all walks of life, everybody in each type of profession to be a member of your club. That's how we felt the diversity is previously for the Rotary. Now the diversity definition has changed fundamentally to go for various types of aspects of representation in the society, as already explained by the President. Thank you.
Great, thank you, sir. Next point, let's go back a few years, go back to COVID-19. All of us have faced it. What changes did the club make to take care of COVID-19? Situation. You couldn't have physical meetings, you couldn't organize training seminars, you couldn't attend as important events like International Assembly. So what is the change we made during COVID period which continued to make us relevant? In fact, friends, for most of you, the collection for Rotary Foundation in the COVID year was higher than the previous year. despite of the fact that almost the entire year we could not meet physically. So anyone would like to dwell for a minute or so on what change we made to ourselves during the COVID period? Please, there is a gentleman at the back raising his hand. Keep raising your hand so that the mic can come to you. Keep raising your hand. Yeah, please. So we are talking about a change induced by the need during COVID-19. Yes, please.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I am Madhu Fomra, Vice President of Rotary Club Rajahmundry. COVID-19. I think COVID should not be repeated in the future, as we have seen the worst part. Even relatives are away. And being in Rotary, I got an opportunity of serving many people in COVID, as I am associated with the hospital and a burial ground also. So there was nobody to even perform last rites, which in Rotary we have performed for people. And COVID has taught us one thing, that relations which we feel there's a permanent bonding, everything became temporary that time. And Rotary has been a big instrument, like institute, which made everybody collective, and we try to do good service to the society. Thank you.
So according to you, what it did was gave us new opportunities for service.
Yeah.
That is how I would summarize.
Yeah.
And it created member involvement to a cause.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Great. One more answer?
One more.
Please.
I am Nagendra Kishore, past president of Rotary Club of Rajahmundry River City. The COVID really has induced the imperative need and the infectious services of Rotary. That is, it has given induced services to be done with commitment, continuous, cooperative, coordination, community consciousness and conscience, in collaboration. And the more all these words have specific meaning, and everyone together as a community as a whole, they started working on doing service, each for all and all for each. Thank you, sir.
Great. Thank you. It is an extension of your argument, Doc.
Yeah. Good morning, sir. My name is Ram Babu. I am a chartered president of Rotary Vizag Diamonds. COVID gave an opportunity, especially it reduced the physical movements and it increased the online capacity.
Absolutely.
That is the first thing. Second thing, our intentions are high. With any cost, we will reach the target, maybe the service and all. Especially in Visakhapatnam in the COVID times, we will reach a lot of needy people to collect the funds from the virtual, and we will distribute the physically also. And my idea is, especially COVID teaches a lot more things, why we are wasting time in a lot of things. And already that guy is told that the emotions as well as the relations are temporarily. If people have the long vision, definitely we will plan according to that. Thank you very much, sir.
So the message is, you want to add, we have limited time, so this is the last question.
Sir, here.
I would just want to add one sentence. I've already introduced myself
Yeah,
last
you
time
did.
when I
Yeah.
spoke. I'm Karam Kaur from Vijayawada Club of Midtown. Sir, I think COVID was an opportunity which gave us wings to cross borders, and we reached beyond boundaries where it was not possible. You know, I mean, if COVID was not there, we wouldn't have been able to connect the way we could connect in those days. And that was the best thing what COVID gave us. Because, I mean, one simple theme which could just go on rotation, technology was our wings, and we all could connect beyond boundaries without thinking whether, you know, someone is from Rajahmundry or Vijayawada or US or UK. So the connection was amazingly too good. I feel that was one good thing what COVID did to us.
Thank you for
so
pointing
much.
it out. Actually, I was looking for this answer.
Zoom
Great.
meetings are the best meetings, sir, where we could connect internationally as well. Zoom meetings were the best
Yes.
meetings.
So it is extension of
extension
that.
of that.
That becomes a means. So this is
Thank
the point, we innovated. We adopted a technology most of us were not familiar with. But all of us started using it within days of COVID. But the bigger take out of this, if you really now summarize it, of course, we handled the situation, we improved our connections, we did more service projects, we raised funds. But what it did, it allowed us to add members now who thought very differently than what Rotary was thinking. You see, you could add more youth to Rotary. You could add people who never wanted to attend a physical meeting now to Rotary. In fact, if you look at some of the changes in the membership model, some of them are influenced with what we did during the COVID periods. So this is the beauty of change. It is the same example going back to coffee and how it not just changed itself, but it changed the water in which it was put. And this is exactly what we did. Not wanting to take much time, I think I gave you an essence of the future of Rotary. Future of Rotary, friends, is uncertain, despite of whatever we may say. So how do we manage the future? And I think that's the point. We have our incoming leaders sitting here. And I think when we talk of future, we also talk about future leaders. And one of the things I would like to leave this group to think about, deliberate, and take action, youth. Because, most of us will go away in maybe, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. But people who will carry forward the legacy of Rotary are the youth who join Rotary now. So we need to be very careful about inculcating youth and how they view Rotary and what the changes they've been wanting to make Rotary. Rotary International, as well as COL on its own part, has done a lot as far as youth movement is concerned. But our friends, I think we as Rotarians also need to take that as a major task. And the future will be determined not by you and me, it will be determined by young leaders who we get in Rotary. With that message, I'd like to thank each one of you for active participation.